Our company is an apartment-only focused REIT. We are orient our capital investments across the Sunbelt. We are a bit unique in our approach in that we differentiate across the Sunbelt by being in a broader segment of markets than any other apartment REIT. We're in both large markets such as Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, but we're also in a number of mid-tier markets, places like Greenville, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. And what we find is that this approach to the business that we've had for 30 years enables us to work through cycles both in the apartment market as well as in the broader economy and deliver more stable earnings performance over a long period of time, which supports our ability to drive total shareholder return as a REIT. We think that is better than what others are able to do. Well, we started 30 years ago, like many other private platforms, where the tax laws changed back in 1990, late 1993, early 1994. We went public and went public with 19 properties, largely oriented around the Memphis area. We were in the Carolinas and in Mississippi at that time as well. And since that time have captured significant growth. But we've always been exclusively focused on the apartment sector and exclusively focused on the Southeast, and just continue to find ample opportunity to both grow as well as drive shareholder performance with this focus that we have. Well, really, it starts with demand, which is always the most important variable. We continue to see a lot of positive momentum on demand, both as a function of the markets and the region of the country do business, where employers continue to find favor to bring jobs to this region of the country, which, of course, then brings households. Migration trends from some of the higher cost coastal regions of the country continue to make a positive impact on demand for housing, and particularly apartment housing. And then more interesting, over the last probably 10 years ago or so, we've seen a real shift demographically begin to occur, where you're seeing, marriages take place later in life, families are starting later in life, and as a consequence, the demographics have continued to evolve, and we see more single females as part of our demographic than we've ever seen in our 30-year history. Well, again, it starts with demand. One of the things that has always sort of weighed on the Sunbelt portfolio or apartment REITs from time to time is worries surrounding new supply, which is a current worry at the moment. But I've never really worried about supply. There are things that we do in an effort to try to mitigate that pressure from when it does happen from time to time. For me, the real risk is on the demand side of the business. And again, there we feel very confident about that outlook for our business, both as a function of the demographic shift that I've mentioned, the region that drives job growth, household formation, and then more recently, of course, we've seen single-family housing become much more expensive. And as a consequence, that is continuing to also drive demand. So, I'm not, worried about demand, but in terms of risk factors, that would certainly be the biggest one. But we continue to feel very good about that variable going forward at this point. Well, I think it really is the focus that we have on the Sunbelt exclusively now for 30 years, and the fact that we are more diversified across this region than any other apartment REIT, which I think brings some ability to weather cycles in a better way than a lot of our peers are able to do. And ultimately, it's all in terms of performance. We just celebrated our 30-year anniversary back in January. We've been public for 30 years. We've compounded annual returns to shareholders right at 13% a year for 30 years. The bulk of that return is the dividends that we pay, which is really what a REIT model is all about. And we continue to believe that approach is the right approach. It drives everything that we do from a strategy and execution perspective. And I think that that's probably the biggest differentiation for us in the REIT space.